I'm Karen Campbell. I'm an artist and I'm an author. And for the last maybe 18 months, I've been just totally immersing myself in watercolors and loving it. And I know a lot of people have questions about how to set up a custom palette. Do you buy pans? Do you buy tubes? How do you swatch them? So today I wanted to invite you into my studio to accompany me as I set up a brand new whole set of 24 custom colors and why and how I do what I do. So if you are new or you're intimidated by the process, you're not sure what this whole situation is, I hope today's invite will help you figure out what you need to do to get started with watercolors if you're new or you've been dabbling for a while but you want to establish a custom palette so you have your favorite colors on hand. All right, let's go to the studio. Oh wait, we're here. Maggie. Let's get our custom palette going. All right, I get so many questions centered around how do you set up a custom palette, but the reality is you can set it up any way you want to. Isn't that so cool? So this is all that you need. You need an empty palette. So it's ready to accept your paints. Watercolors are way more affordable when you buy them by the tube, and the bigger the tube, the more affordable they are. So those teeny tiny tubes, I know it's really tempting. You're like, yeah, but it's cheaper. It's not. It's a lot cheaper to buy them in bigger tubes. So that is a big piece of advice I hope you'll take up on me when you do the math. It's so true. And these tubes will last you like a lifetime also. So you can, which paints do you buy? There's a lot of different paints. Some are cheap, some are intermediate, and some are super expensive. And I find this is a very personal thing. I'm making my very first bougie set I've ever had. I collect Daniel Smith. This is my high-end set. So to answer your question, how do you divide up your palette? You have a couple of options. You can do it by paint manufacturer. This could be my Daniel Smith. This could be my Daniel Smith set, which I have done that. You could do this in rainbow order. Like this is my rainbow set of Daniel Smith. You can do that too. You can do a custom palette of just greens and blues. I've done that too. So you can do this any way you want. But my biggest rule that I always do for myself is you have to swatch as you go. Watercolors look all the same when they're dried in their pans, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I'm gonna set this up. So these are colors. They're gonna look really random and varied, but what they are is I bought Paulina Bright's Watercolor Skin Tones book, and in her book she lists the colors that she uses. And so I went to my local Jerry's Artorama. I'm very lucky and also unlucky because it makes me poor every time I go. I picked up all the colors that I could find that were on her list. And then I was like, but while I'm here, it was also the day of my actual birth. It was my birthday. And I decided I deserved a million other colors of paints that I don't own because I've never had any Winsor Newton. I have very few Schminkies. I don't have any, what else? There's another brand in here. There's a couple other brands. I don't have any Van Goghs. Oh, I did no Holbeins. I do have some Holbein gouache, but I have never tried a Holbein watercolors, and I decided that I was going to, on the spot, make a custom palette of all of these bougie brands, as I like to say. So I filled up, and then I got one of these. So Paulina has 12 colors, and I allowed myself to get 12 additional colors of colors that just looked cool, which is so insane, but that's how I personally like to build my watercolor palettes. I want colors that look cool, because you know why? They inspire me. So now I'm putting them into rainbow order, but I could have also put them in like brand order. I could have put all my Holbeins in one chunk. I could put all my Schminkies in one chunk. It's completely and utterly up to you. Isn't that so nice? So sometimes I get a little weird with my colors. Instead of doing them rainbow, I'll do like reds. To me, kind of segue to pinks. So I actually have my pinks and my reds next to each other. Another way to say that would be like having my warms clustered, because warm is like red, yellow, and orange. So I put them in rainbow. But instead of doing like pink and purple at the end, like you would say if you were in kindergarten, I put my pinks over here. And then sometimes that actually does segue into purple, or I will put my purples over next to my blues in more classic rainbow order. Okay, so this really is how I would do my palette. So I have all my tubes, and I'm just gonna make sure visually that they look cool. I don't even know what red umber even is. That is probably gonna be more red. Sometimes I will also, this is why swatching is so important. I might take a little peek of that. So sometimes I put my browns next to my yellows, because in my brain, the yellows, like browns are just like a super dark yellow. So this is the fun of setting up your own palettes. You can make up whatever weird rule how you associate your colors as you want to. Then I have neutral tint. I've never even used neutral tint before. I don't even know what that looks like. I'm gonna put it next to sepia, which is next to my yellows. Okay, what the hell is this? Payne's gray is like a gray-y blue, so we can put those. And yeah, I guess I could literally put my purple either next to my Payne's gray and blues, or I would be fine putting it up next to my pinks as well. I'm actually torn. All right, now I just need to make sure I have as many holes as I do colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 12 of these are Polina's colors, and the other 12 are just me being really naughty and buying paint colors that I do not need. Now, I also want to take a look at my greens. If I have any like blue, green, or teal, I want to make sure those are next to my blues, which Viridian I know is, so that's there. Okay. And if you're not sure of your colors, you can just swatch them first on a separate sheet and then do them for realsies on your thing. So once you have on your swatch book, so I buy, these are little skinny watercolor journals, and I use them for swatching. And I like to put them in either 4, 5, or 6. So what I'm gonna do is, this is 12. Normally I do 6 and 6, but this is 12. So I'm gonna, on my swatch, I'm gonna swatch 12 on up here and 12 down here. And that will exactly line up with this 12 and this 12. So that way when I'm like on the go, I can whip open my palette and I can see exactly the order. Be like, oh, this one is this one is this one. And I can see exactly. And it's super important to write the names under as well. Okay, and I know this because my best friend Lucy has all her swatch books and she doesn't put the names for anything. So now we teach a ton together. She'll be like, what color is that? And then I'll tell her and she's, oh crap, actually I don't know because I didn't write it down. And I'm like, why wouldn't you write down? That's why I make fun of her all the time that she doesn't actually write down the colors. I don't even know what Antwerp blue even is. I don't think I've ever seen it. All right, they don't have to be exact. They should be around the same. I'm excited. I've never tried marine blue. Like the color names are all different with the Holbein. I'm so excited. All right, so once you have your colors in order, I'm trying to think, do I go left? I actually, this is going to be really weird, but I actually want to go this. I'm actually going to reverse these. It's really nerve-wracking. You want to make sure you get it right. Oh, do I put the deep? I'm going to start with my deep. Okay, so brilliant purple followed by whatever this is. What is this? Oh, quinacridone rose, bright rose, Winsor deep red, cadmium free red deep, cadmium free red, cadmium free scarlet. Oh, the orange one should go next. Yellow orange, light ochre, cadmium yellow, red umber. Oh, I feel like that might actually have to move up over here. Eek! It's so stressful. Which way do I go? And then warm sepia extra, and then sepia, and then the neutral tint. See, again, this is weird. And I'm not sure where to go. Okay, we'll just deal with it. Okay, this, and then this. Okay. Because once they're in, now you can switch these around. So let's talk about the pan. Okay, sorry that took so long. These all pop out. So I could have also just moved them at the end. These all come out and then they pop in. You can also buy little pans like this, but they're not as economical as buying the tubes. All right, and this metal piece, you can bend down and it clamps this into place. Okay, now it is easier to squeeze the wet watercolors. It's easier to squeeze them when they're out, but I'm too lazy to do that. So you literally squeeze it right into the pan. I like to fill mine all the way up. and I'm being really careful to keep these in order because I need to swatch these out on my sheet, and I'm sure that some of these colors are gonna be like, shoot, I wish I had ordered them differently. Oh, I like this color. And then you just let these dry overnight. Sometimes some paints dry 24 hours. Some paints take longer than that. Where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll see, ooh, gross. So you can see that one pan barely even makes a dent on this tube. You can fill a pan up a number of times, which is why these are so much more economical. Some paints are going to be more runny. Ah! Some are going to be more goopy. I like to fill mine all the way up because when they get low, they can fall out of their pans. So it ensures that they're not going to fall out for quite a long time. So I'm segueing from my reds to my oranges. I'm so scared to get my paints out of order. Okay. I feel naughty mixing my brands. Usually I keep my pans so that they're all the same brand. Is becomes important. I don't know why. It's dumb when I think about it. But it's just nice to know that you have total control over your custom palette. Zoop. And zoop. These are those sepias. All right, so that was the top row. So I can move these up here. Super important to keep the order rock solid so I know what everything is. All right, put that down here. Now we're starting this bottom row. And sepia looks black. Neutral tint looks super black. And then now it's going to feel random because now I'm going to be going and then green. So maybe like now I can still, maybe I actually segue to blue from there. Sometimes this just happens. We could do, because that looks really dark. I also got it onto this other pan. And these are half pans, I should have said. Whoop. No, I'll just keep going. Let's not overthink it. It doesn't really matter anyways. As long as you have your swatches consistent, you know what is what. It doesn't really matter what's next to each other on your palettes. It just feels like it does. This is... oh yeah, Terra Verte. I was like, what is that color? Now Viridian, I didn't need whatsoever. I have Viridian of other colors, but here we are. Sometimes they have the swatches at Jerry's and I just simply can't resist. Or the color, different brands have different color names and I'm like, what is that? It's probably the same as some other exact other color that I already have in another paint brand, but I don't know until I have it. I do have a super watercolor collecting obsession. That's that Antwerp blue. That looks delicious. Here is a marine blue. Here is the phthalo sapphire. Yes, please. Who doesn't want sapphire? So these should all be new. Now Payne's Gray is really naughty that I bought this because I have Payne's Gray in many different makes. So I didn't need it, but I'm like, but I don't have a Holbein one. For my bougie set, get on in there. And it was, I don't know why I have it. I think it was on Paulina's list Otherwise, I don't think I would have gotten it. That is Schminky Violets. Yes, please. And last but not least, Bright Violet. All right. Now, it's easier to swatch these when the pans have dried, but I am not a patient person. So while it's easier, I'm not going to wait. So when it comes to my swatching journal, I'm going to put those paints aside momentarily. I'm actually going to fill out the names first. So I've just done so many swatch books, I know where to go, and you can actually see like through the paper the 4 here. So I'm going to put like halfway down, I'm going to put the name of, oh God, and I need to be really careful not to just touch all the paints that are under my arm. Move those over here. Okay, now is the important job of filling out my swatch book. So this first one is, I'm just gonna put, I think, S for Schminky, and then Brilliant Purple. If you have any of my whimsical watercolor books, you'll see I have scans of my swatch lists. This one is Van Gogh, and this, I can't even read that small. Oh yeah, Quinn Rose. Quinn Rose. Okay, the third one is Holbein. I'm just going to do H for Holbein, and that is Bright Rose. Bright Rose. And then the fourth one is Winsor Newton. So I'm going to put WN, and that is Deep Red. And I always do this in pencil because I have had times where I have had to erase and move things. It does happen. And this is also Winsor Newton. Oh, that was an M, not a W. So this is Winsor Newton. Where are we here? Oh, CAD. Free. Red. Red. And now we can do Winsor Newton, CAD, Free, Scarlet, and then what? I don't even know what this brand even is. Oh, Old Holland. Never had Old Holland before. Red, and then Schminky, yellow, ochre, and then Schminky, yellow, orange, and then what is this one? Holbein, CAD, yellow, pale, and then Old Holland, warm, sepia, extra. Okay. Now, this, guys, like, this is, I'm running out of room here. I need to still stick a whole swatch under that and the name. So I'm going to have to, you're going to have to squish, my friends. Okay. Now I'll just do the bottom and then come back for the swatching part. All right, so once your entire thing is labeled, you can actually now put away your tubes. So I keep my tubes of paint in this. This is like a larger case. Okay, I already have one of these that's all filled with Daniel Smith. So now I have, these are like my core. This one's empty. These are my Schminky granulating ones. So this is where I do separate out by brand. I don't know, I just like keeping the brands together. But again, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to take all my Schminkies and I can put them in one. Or I could do this by color and just keep them bougie. But knowing me, I'll start collecting more Schminkies. And then, all right, I have exactly as many will fit in here. So when that's all done, I can file it away in my little container. Now I will take like these Winsor Newton guys. Is that it? Yeah, these are like so foreign. I'm like, I'm still not used to like, oh, there's my CPS one too. Don't really recognize the labels yet. Now I will put my Holbein away. Zoop, 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 zoop. Yep. Okay, I think that's all of those. Oh, I missed this one. I only could find a big one. So let me put this with my other ones. That's a big tube. And then these are like miscellaneous. There's two Old Holland and a Van Gogh. All right, so I put those away. Ooh, and these are really cheap, crappy boxes. Not sure I recommend them exactly. They are just okay. This one's all kind of screwed up. Okay, there we go. So now I can put, these can really be stored for like a pretty length of time until I actually run out of a pan or I want to make another set. All right, now it comes to swatching time. So you need some clean water. You need to get your watercolor brushes out and you really need a paper towel roll. You're going to be going through a lot of paper towels because you need to get your you need to do a full little swatchy spot and then clean your brush totally in order to do the next one. So you go through quite a lot of water and quite a lot of paper towels, but now we are locked and ready to go. Sometimes for swatching, I actually like to use a flat bristled brush. So let me find one like this one or this one because I just have a tight amount of space and I want to make a square. I know this is like really particular, but this is just my process. So I want to do a nice little swatcheroony on each one. So these are still wet, so you have to be a little bit careful. So I'm going to dip, because it's like still really wet, you have to go a little bit slow and careful. And they're gonna be quite concentrated, but actually I really like that. Okay, and then you do it, because you have a flat bristle brush, you can actually make a quite nice little rectangle there. You can add some more if you want to. A little play area. So get a good size sample. So you have to wash your brush out entirely, dry it quite a bit. And then I just barely grab enough to then go and make the next swatch. And we're working on watercolor paper. So it should behave pretty normally, which is also nice. Okay, give it a good wash. Go back for more. Bright rose. Ooh. That is so pretty. That first sample is like way too big. It's not about being pretty, it's just about seeing what the heck the color looks like. Ooh, that is awesome. I think I needed deep red in my life. I just didn't know it until now. Yes, please. Ooh, that is like blood red. Wish I had tried that one before. These look exactly like the same exact color, honestly. But I'm doing something special with my Mixed Media Society members. So it's worth it. All right, here's that Cad Free Scarlet. looks so good. Okay, so now I will let this dry. Now I will let this dry. And now when I want to look for a color, I simply boop, open up my book and I will know exactly what each paint color is and a little sample of what it looks like. And so this is how to create your own custom palette. Anyway, that floats your boat.